Hello, everybody. My name's Rick McCutcheon. I'm a Dynamics 365 Microsoft MVP, and today I'm on this DocStar Cavallo expert panel brought to you by MS Dynamics World. We're going to be talking about navigating the future, a deep dive in the state of Microsoft Dynamics GP, what it means for existing and prospective customers. So we have an all-star panel today of the some of the greatest minds in the GP world are coming together to talk about this. And we're going to kick things off with Mr. Bob McAdam. So, Bob, introduce yourself and take us through this short presentation.
Okay, Rick, thanks very much. Good day, everybody. Welcome. I'm Bob McAdam, Vice President, Strategic Partnerships at Cavallo, the company formerly known as SalesPad. I spend most of my day talking with reseller partners about GP and Business Central. But today I get to talk a little bit about a topic that's really important to me, and that is the current state of Dynamics GP. I think it's important for end users and stakeholders to know the facts that are coming from the publisher. And that way they can make the best decisions for their business and their future and their profitability. So today we're going to do a little intro here, and then the panel will discuss what we've covered. So let's start with the news that came from the publisher, Microsoft, about 9 months ago in April of 2023. All right, they made some news around Dynamics GP and its future. And it's important to note that the news they put forth is easily divided into two sections: news for existing customers and news for prospective customers. All right, if you are an existing customer of Dynamics GP today, you were told last April that you will see some price increases around seat licenses and annual enhancements. But outside of those things, support and development and new functionality and the ability to purchase additional seat licenses for your Dynamics GP environment continue forward. Very few changes for existing customers with Dynamics GP. This is consistent with the roadmap, which we'll get to here in a minute, that says that development and support will continue to 2028 and beyond. If you are a prospective customer of Dynamics GP, if you are contemplating purchasing Dynamics GP to run your back office, well, you've got a limited amount of time to do that, because as of April 1, 2026, no more new sales of Dynamics GP will be executed. All right. So prospective customers have a couple more years to get in on Dynamics GP, or it will not be made available to them. But what's important here, and this slide really spells it out clearly, is that the scenarios put forth by the publisher for prospective customers are considerably different than the scenario put forth for existing customers. All right. And unfortunately, outside and inside our space, we often, or at least I do, hear frequently that prospective customer scenarios are placed in front of existing customers. And that's not accurate. All right. If you want to buy a Dynamics GP seat license as an existing customer on April 2nd, 2026, you can do that. You can expect continued development and support going forward. Okay. That's what the roadmap says. That's what Microsoft has said. They have clearly given different scenarios and options to existing customers versus prospective customers. So when I made this slide up, I wanted to make it as clear as day. If you are an existing Dynamics GP customer, your roadmap ahead is very clear. All right.
Okay, Bob, and I'm glad you're putting this together like this, because walking around the community shows and talking to partners, there's a real mixed message out there about what exactly is happening, what has been said by Microsoft. So this is excellent. So let's talk a little bit about this fixed and modern lifecycle policy, because this is very important.
Yes, it is. And I know we'll discuss this on the panel, but this is the roadmap for Dynamics GP. It was put forth in the fall of 2018. And that's when Dynamics GP was promoted to the modern lifecycle policy from the previous fixed lifecycle policy. So the roadmap says that under the modern lifecycle policy, that development and support of Dynamics GP from Microsoft will continue to 2028 and beyond, with arrows pointing forward on the roadmap. Dynamics GP 2018 and 2018 are the last two releases that were part of the fixed lifecycle policy, and mainstream support for those releases ended about a year ago in January 23. So if you are looking to stay on Dynamics GP going forward, you should talk to your partner so that you understand the modern lifecycle policy and where you can upgrade to be under this umbrella. Okay. The modern lifecycle policy covers other Microsoft products like Dynamics 365 Business Central and Microsoft 365, formerly known as Office. So Dynamics GP is in good company with other Microsoft applications, and that's important to this ecosystem as a whole.
Okay, great. So let's talk about the annual Dynamics GP release schedule and what we're seeing these days.
Okay. So if you're an existing Dynamics GP customer, this release schedule is important to know and keep in the back of your mind. Each October, as an existing customer, you can expect new functionality to be released. So Dynamics GP 18.6 was released in October of 2023, about 3 or so months ago. And we expect Dynamics GP 18.7 to arrive this October, new functionality and continued support. November is the month for US payroll and year-end code drops, right? For all those wonderful 1099 changes and things like that around payroll. And then in December, we see the very same thing for Canadian customers on Canadian payroll and their year-end. January is generally a hotfix month because by that time, the new release has been out about 3 months. You may see some other spring or summertime regulatory code drops or hot fixes released for states or provinces that have regulatory changes. But generally speaking, October through January are the key months for Microsoft and its release schedule for Dynamics GP. So it's something end users should plan around budget-wise for when they're getting ready to do upgrades, know when these things are coming out, learn what functionality is being released, and plan accordingly.
Okay, great. So let's talk about how many customers we estimate are still out there on GP.
Okay, so there's a reasonable estimate out there that I like, and it's right here. It's fair to say that today there are probably 20,000 companies in the world utilizing Microsoft Dynamics GP who are current with their enhancements. They're running on premises, they're current with enhancements, and they're continuing forward. There are probably another 10,000, give or take, who are running Dynamics GP on premises, but not current on their enhancements. All right. They're receiving support from their partner anyway, or maybe they have internal staff or independent contractors like my friend Amber Bell who help them continue on. Okay. So give or take, that's probably 30,000 companies in the world utilizing Dynamics GP, 2/3 of whom are likely paying their annual enhancements. Okay, that's a lot of companies, in my view, to be redeployed in the next 4 years. I've done upgrades in the past. Upgrades are always challenging, right? Every company is different. They've got different integrations, different ISVs, et cetera. And redeploying, know what I'm saying, redeploying, not migrating to something else it can be a big job given the circumstances in any given company. So I don't believe there are enough humans with the right skill sets on this planet to redeploy that many companies in such a short period of time. I could be wrong, but I've done some upgrades in my past, and I know it's always challenging and rewarding to get a customer upgraded and on a newer version and leveraging that technology. So.
And if I could just add a thing here, Bob, too,
yeah, go ahead.
like you're making a good point about these people that aren't current. And I think with the changes and the way support's happening,
Right.
I'm glad we have Amber and Terry on the call today, because I think if they're not engaged with their partner anymore, I think they need to re-engage.
Yeah, I completely agree. Partners are an important part of our ecosystem. We have a wonderful partner channel and scores of ISVs in this channel. And if you're not leveraging your partner and getting good information to plan accordingly and grow your business with their help, then you should reconsider that, because this is a partner channel and the partners in the GP space have many years of experience under their belts. So all that said, and those numbers said, let's just come back quickly to the roadmap, okay? I'm of the opinion, given the numbers on the previous slide, that we will go beyond 2028 with Dynamics GP support and development. That's a lot of companies, again, to be redeployed to some other solution. So I could be wrong, and I'll be the first to admit that I'm wrong if Microsoft says in 4 years that they're all done with Dynamics GP, but there are a lot of companies utilizing it. We have a lot of customers at Cavallo who have been leveraging our SalesPad solutions for 10, 15, 20 years, that are leveraging our technology, competing better, and scaling their business. And they've told us they want our support going forward because they're content where they're at. So given what I've heard and the number of sheer customers out there still using the solution, I feel like we're going to end up, ultimately, Microsoft will end up pushing this date out. I just don't know when.
Okay, great. So now it's time to talk to our panel, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So, panelists, we're going to talk about who you are and what you do before we enter into this conversation. So let's start with you, Amber.
Thanks for inviting me to be part of this panel. It's really exciting, and to be with people that I know and that I really respect in the community. My name's Amber Bell, and my company is Training Dynamo. I've focused on Microsoft Dynamics GP in my career for over 20 years. I started in 1999. About 7 years ago, I started my own company, writing training books, pre-recording training, focusing on being a part of events. And also really the opportunity I get as someone who focuses on training and process improvement is seeing how people are using more and more of both Dynamics GP and the ISV or add-on products like Cavallo and the folks at DocStar and a lot of other ones that I've known for many, many years. So it's an opportunity to see people really doing their business and really being successful using Dynamics GP.
Okay, thank you, Amber. Terry.
Thank you, Rick, and really appreciate you inviting me here today. And thank you to Rick and Bob and Eric, and it's good to see you again, Amber. Hopefully today I can help bring some calm and some understanding to this sort of confusion that's going on within the marketplace. Again, I'm Terry Sunderland, and I'm president and founder of Endeavor Solutions. I've been in this business. When I started, I had a full head of hair. Don't have it anymore, but it's been a long, long time. We are a Dynamics GP partner, as well as Business Central and CRM partner here in Canada with clients across the globe. We have close to 100 employees, and we've got over 25 employees focused on GP and Dynamics GP and all the associated products that with it. We've got a good level of experience, and hopefully we can talk with some knowledge in this panel today. But again, thank you for having me today.
Okay, Terry, thank you. Eric.
Hi, everyone. I'm Eric McCracken. I'm the Strategic Partnerships Executive for DocStar. I've been with DocStar 13 years, and during this time, we've worked with hundreds of Dynamics GP customers who've endeavored to go paperless and automate a variety of their document-driven business processes. So thank you for joining us today, and we hope you find value in our content.
Okay, great. Bob, would you like to add anything else about yourself?
No, it's great to be here. I want to thank my friend Eric at DocStar for inviting me to participate today. We've done a lot of work with them, and we're excited about partnering with them, not just in the GP space where we've got a long history, but also in the BC space as well. We are all about stakeholders having the facts in front of them so that they can make good decisions for themselves and their businesses. That's it.
Okay, perfect. So for those listening today, make sure you stick around to the end of our session. We have a short survey we'd like you to participate in, and I believe we have some Visa gift cards to give away. I think there's 3 of them. So I don't think the panelists are allowed to win, but if you're watching here today, we'll make sure that you can participate. All right. So there's been various commentaries on the status of GP in recent years. What are your thoughts on Bob's presentation today? And we're going to start with you, Terry.
Thank you, Rick. There was a number of things that Bob mentioned today, which was very, very helpful. First of all, as you did mention, there is a lot of confusion and misinformation that is not only brought out by the competitor that are in our marketplace, but by Microsoft themselves. Sometimes you get different views from different people within the company. And then there's also the partner channel. You've got different views and perspectives coming from that group as well. I really feel for our clients, and our prospects. They come to us and they go, someone just told me that the GP is going to end soon, and that is so far from the truth. There's over 30,000 companies that are using it, and you know what? It's probably the most solid, capable product in the marketplace, and there's a lot of life in it. It simply works. And one of the other things that Bob mentioned was this is not just a simple upgrade or transition of data. And a lot of companies are trying to say that no matter what you go to, it will be a significant amount of work. And a lot of our clients are just saying, hey, I want to be ready for it. I want to do it on my timeline and not on Microsoft's timeline. So the roadmap is good. The presentation and Rick's outlining that there's significant years left. The wonderful thing about that is it gives us time, as well as gives the user community time to prepare and determine when it is right for them.
Okay, Terry, thank you. Amber, what would you like to say about Bob's presentation?
I really appreciated the slide that had the perspective versus current clients, current users of GP. I think that really thinking about it as 2 groups is important for us in the space of those who support and sell GP, but also people that use GP. The other thing I was thinking, looking at his slide, was as he was saying the 20,000 to 10,000, 30,000 companies, give or take, that are using GP. As someone who really focuses on helping individual departments and users to use GP, I know that there are companies that have 50 to hundreds of users in GP. So we're not talking about 30,000 people who use GP. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of people that use GP. So I think that recognizing that this affects an entire company, we have the opportunity now to improve what they do in GP, clean their data that they use in GP, and then get their processes cleaned up so that if they stay on GP, they're even better than they were. If they decide to move to another solution at some point, those of us who are in that advisory and support role understand their business and can help them understand the differences if they are going to make that change.
Okay, Amber, thank you. Eric, what would you like to add?
Sure, Rick. Thanks. So I can tell you from our perspective as a long-term ISV in this space, we're still seeing a lot of activity from the GP customer base. So still investing in our technology to enhance GP, primarily in the areas of procurement and AP automation. That's generally where we see the most activity. And at any given time, we'll have at least a few active projects where we're integrating with GP. So for that reason, we're still investing heavily in our API integration with GP.
Okay, thank you. So let's kind of flip over and let's talk about this GP market and what we're hearing from our customers. So let's discuss the state of the current GP marketplace. Is Microsoft's modern lifecycle policy a good thing? And should GP customers keep investing? And we're going to start with you, Amber.
I think the modern lifecycle was very exciting when it was announced because it did give some clarity to me as someone who talks to other people about their current system. And I think that it is important, honestly, to invest in GP to make the work people are doing now easier. Because if you have people that are running around overwhelmed in what they're doing in GP, and the data is terrible, and people, don't know how to communicate between what they do and what's going on in the system, and things are still on an Excel sheet and a Post-it next to their desk. Those people are going to have a harder time keeping that going while they're implementing another solution. If they can get GP improved, they might see that really for them, the things that they want to change were much easier to invest in one add-on, two add-ons, than scrapping the whole thing, baby in bathwater, throwing it out and starting over, which would require investments in people, time, add-on products as well. So I think that we have the opportunity to get them better now, and then that might get them, on a better road if they decide to stay, or make it easier for them if they are looking at something else in the future.
So Amber, that's an excellent point, because if they decide I'm not going to, invest in what I'm doing in GP and start investing in spreadsheets, I've been through lots of upgrades. I'm a CRM MVP, and that's when it gets tough. Is when that data leaves the main system and everybody's got their own little batch of what they do, trying to get that all back in. So Terry, what are your thoughts?
There's so much there. As I mentioned earlier, the life cycle gives us time to think, and takes the pressure off us. But the other thing that I want to point out, and it's a little bit of a different angle, there is so much to this outside of the product itself. Sure, the product is the most stable on the marketplace. It's got a full ISV community that is strong and still developing things. You can still add to it. We've got over 650 clients, and I'm going to say the majority of them are still expanding and finding new things that they can do with it. So that's the product side. But if you look at the experience, not necessarily just in the partner community, but in the user community. So people have been using this product for years, so they know how to get what they need out of it and how to run their business. And there's no product on the marketplace that has that kind of experience within the user community. So we've heard from a number of our customers, and it's interesting, at the CFO level or director of finance or director of operations. And what they've said, I've been using GP for 10, 15, 20 years. I'm going to finish my career out and let the next group take on that new technology, because frankly, I don't need to make that change. So we've got that experience. And in our organization, and I think like many of the partners, we've got 25, as you said, over 25 consultants and they every one of them have over 15 years experience in GP. That's a lot of talent that's there. That's a very valuable asset to the product and to these businesses to run. Should they keep investing? The biggest thing about investing is keeping something current, because there's changes in whether it's the Windows environment or the technology environment that the product's got to continue with. So you don't want your system to break down because other systems are moving ahead. So you've got to continue to invest. But like most people in accounting groups, they want to keep their data current and their systems current. So when that transition happens, you're in a much better position to transition to something else. As you said, like Rick, if they're going to start using spreadsheets to fill some holes and things like that, that gets to be a bigger mess. If they get their current product to do what they need, it'll make that transition a lot better when they're ready. Not when Microsoft wants you to, but when you're ready.
And so, Terry, you hit on something there about community, because, there's 5 of us on this call that have all been involved with community over the last decade. And, hands down, GP has probably the strongest user community out of all the Microsoft products out there. So there's still that infrastructure. And like you said, there's lots of people with experience. So, Eric, what would you like to add?
Again, we're not seeing really any drop off in activity. We have GP customers from really just about every industry that we're working with. Again, some of the common use cases for us are automating that purchase requisition process, AP automation, even order entry automation. So really any sort of process automation that helps you go paperless and improve efficiency in your back office is where we can help. And again, we typically have at least a few active projects going on at any time. So again, we haven't really seen any slowdown.
Okay, good. And Bob, from a Cavallo perspective, are customers still investing in their GP?
Yeah. Customers are still investing in GP, and if they plan to stay, they should consider investing in GP. Why sit there and just do minimal upgrades? But GP customers are not getting a lengthy list of new functionality from Microsoft, but that doesn't mean the ISVs like Cavallo and DocStar and many others aren't working on new functionality. I can tell you internally, we have an entire product team with an owner working on new functionality that customers want, new integrations that customers are requesting, and we're adding to our GP prowess for distributors all the time. You get a new release each month. We get a new integration once a quarter, and we're partnering with DocStar and Wentsoft and Avalara and you name it. If a customer has asked us to integrate, if we haven't written it ourselves, we've likely integrated to it recently. So it's full steam ahead on development for GP. We are into other things, sure, but our GP clientele still has demands and requests, and we are meeting those each day.
And for those customers, oh, sorry, go ahead, Terry.
Oh, sorry. Can I add to that, Bob, please? One of the things that you mentioned is that people want to add on to their products, and they do, and we're seeing a lot of that. But I've been in this business for many, many years, and I think you've probably heard it before as well. I'm only using 20% of the system anyway, or I'm only using 15% of the system anyway.
Right.
So why change when you can get a lot more out of your current system? And that's what we're finding a lot of our customers are asking for, is to add on not only the ISV products like SalesPad, like DocStar, but also I want to integrate into our e-commerce site. The tools are much better now, a lot easier. Or I want to get things like fixed assets. I've been meaning to do that for years, and so on. So there's a lot more to get out of the product, and I think most people in the user community would agree.
Right.
Oh, can I say something
Go
real
ahead,
quick?
Andrew. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for saying that, Terry, because that reminded me of something I wanted to say was, with my job, I go in and I look at people's current process, how they're using GP, like you said, that 20% that they're using in the system. And even when I do events and I'll show a tip or trick or really cool thing you can do, and there'll be still people going, "Oh, is that brand new?" And I'll go, "No, that's been in GP since the beginning. You just didn't know you could do, this, that, or the other. You could do export solutions. You can do live Excel. You can do all of these really cool features." So I feel like when people are looking to improve, one thing is to be available to them as partners, as independent people looking at their systems, is to ask very clearly, like, what do you need to see? What are you looking for? And what is it that was so exciting that you're seeing on these other products? Because they might say, "Oh, I saw that I could see this dashboard and do this. Oh, well, you can do that in GP with a Power BI dashboard or a business." Like there's different things that we can do, that the questions to ask them aren't, "Well, why, what are you looking at?" It's like, "Well, what did you see that you like? Is there something there that you just never knew to check a box to turn on or set up?" So I think there's just so much that's built into GP that are some of the new features coming in these other products we've had for years.
Okay, thank you, Amber. And for those watching this who do not attend trade shows, by all means, get out there and start looking at products like Cavallo and DocStar, and see the added functionality they bring. And when you see Amber Bell doing a presentation, go to the presentation. It's worth your 40 minutes, right?
Yep.
It may change the direction of your company. So, what are we hearing from customers? Are customers worried? Are customers, calm? Or are customers not hearing what we're hearing? Because in our space, in this Microsoft space, we spin around these rumors all the time, and then we realize the customers never heard anything about them, right? So what are we hearing from our customers, Terry?
Oh, that's a really good question, and I'm going to say it changes on a daily basis. It's competitors are out there to initiate panic and really try and grab your attention. So they're going to say things that are just plain wrong. Just before this panel discussion, I got an email that came from, attend our seminar on the death of GP. And I'm going, it was literally 10 minutes ago.
Right.
It's an interesting dynamic. We just did a survey of our clients, and as I said, we've got a very large client base across North America, and 87% said they plan to stay on Dynamics GP for at least the next 3 years. That's significant. So they're not buying into some of the stuff that they're hearing, and you know what? It's a good thing. And a lot of them, no one wants to change their ERP system. It is such a painful process. No matter what you're doing or what you're going to, it's a painful process. Yes, there's benefits down the road, and you're going to want people to help you through that process. But if they can push it off, they will. Now, you've got to do some business planning and figure out, okay, is there something there? Then, there's got to be some compelling reasons for it. And that's what our customers are looking for. And they're going, the big question is why should I change and why should I do it now? And if we think of Business Central, it's really only the last couple of years it's been a really solid product. Before then, it was there was a number of things that had to be done. But there's still some features in Business Central that aren't available. I should say there's some features in GP that aren't available in Business Central. And that worries some of our clients. So yeah, they're hearing it. They're trying to ignore some of it. They worry more about what Microsoft's message is to them. And sometimes this modern life cycle slides and that aren't getting to the customer from Microsoft. Microsoft wants people to switch to Business Central, and you get some overzealous people in Microsoft that are trying to push that a little bit. So it can be confusing. I feel for them, but the majority of clients are coming to us anyway and asking to be, what should I do? And most of them relax after they've spoken to us or someone like Amber or Bob and so on.
Okay, thank you. Amber, what are you hearing from your customers?
I think the customers that I have, the wonderful thing for me is that the people that I've worked with will ask me honestly, like my thoughts on the product, where it's going and what they can do now and what they should be doing. So they do hear these things. You'll see on most of these surveys on what people are planning to do, they have heard these negative messages, like that side will be high, but you'll see that the side saying, I've heard that, but I'm not planning to leave as much higher. So the fact that that message is going out there, that they are getting these emails, that they are seeing these posts, it is out there. So many of them are aware. But if you do have access to a good partner, or you can reach out to independent people like myself or your ISVs, if you aren't close with your partner, and ask an honest opinion of, our business, are we a good fit for that? Or should we be planning for that? And if someone's honest, they'll say, yeah, you guys, you're a great fit for moving to BC or a great fit for this other product. They'll help you make that decision. But a lot of times I'll look at clients and I'll say, I know that you have these 10 integrations and you're using these 5 add-on products. Those things you're going to, are not available or going to be very expensive to move over. And they'll go, yeah, we don't want to do it right now. Like they'll tell me, like, stop me in my tracks and say, knowing that you're saying it doesn't have this feature and this feature, or knowing what we are currently doing, it's going to work better in GP. So that's not saying people aren't moving. There are people that are moving to other softwares, but it has to be a decision made in clarity, a decision that's thoughtful to understand your people and your processes, and not a decision made in fear. And that's what I want to make sure I communicate to people.
Perfect.
And I think you've said it a couple times here, Amber, is that, you've got a plan. but you got to plan to run your business too,
Yeah.
right? You can't sit there and say over the next 5 years we're going to make a change and not run your current business. So I think we're hearing a lot of that and that kind of feedback. Eric, what would you like to add?
Yeah. So as an ISV, typically by the time a GP customer engages with us in a sales cycle, they've already had that conversation with their partner, or they've made a decision internally on how much longer they intend to stick with GP and what their migration strategy is. They may not have decided yet what they're going to move to, but one of the key conversations I always have is they want to know, if and when we move away from GP, can you integrate with other ERP applications? And the nice thing about DocStar is while we do have a very robust integration with GP, we have a number of connectivity tools that allow us to integrate really with any ERP system out there. So it's always incumbent upon us to demonstrate our capabilities in that regard so that they have a comfort level that we can house their content, we can help automate their processes with GP. And when they do move to a different ERP, that they don't also have to relocate their content. We can essentially just repoint DocStar to their new ERP. So that's always an important conversation that we have with our GP customers.
Okay, thanks, Eric. And Bob, you're the type of person that's fully engaged with the GP community and through Cavallo and their own community work. What are you hearing from customers?
So some of our customers are asking us about cloud, and we're talking to them about how we brought our distribution prowess over to Business Central. So they want to hear about that, and they want to hear about the ISV partners that we have over in the BC space, which is great. But a lot of our customers, some other ones have certainly said, we're happy with what we have. It's running well. It's on premises. We've fine-tuned it the way we want it to. We're scaling our business, leveraging SalesPad on-prem with GP, and we don't want to go anywhere. So honestly, Rick, it's a really good place to be. Our customers who want to look at cloud, we can support and service them over there. Our customers who want to stay on GP, stay on-prem with our SalesPad solutions, they can stay there and we will support and service them over there. So it doesn't matter. Our customers get choices, and that's what we want for our customers and our stakeholders, for us to tell them which way they want to go and how can we help them. It's really that simple.
Thanks, Bob. And Terry, we're running in a situation now where people are mandated to move their servers to the cloud, right? We don't want to be supporting it here on premise. So are there options out there for those GP customers?
Oh, for sure. For sure. We've got, I'm going to say probably 40 or 50% of our customers have their systems hosted by a third party in the cloud or on Azure, doing Azure hosting. And it's all in the cloud. And then it's integrations to cloud applications that are key. And there's a number of really good tool sets, or the organizations such as Cavallo and DocStar have those integrations ready to go. And if they are cloud-based, we can integrate in with it. And it doesn't matter where the data and the systems are stored for us. But yes, there's lots of options there. And you're seeing a lot more even features in GP that are cloud-based, that they take advantage of all the other applications that are out there. So yeah, that discussion is never a complicated discussion with a client.
Okay, thank you. So panelists, thanks again for joining us. And I'm just going to go to each one of you and give us some closing thoughts. Let's talk to you first, Amber.
My closing thoughts are basically that I will keep saying this every day that I can. The thing to invest in first, in my opinion, is training. You want people to understand what they're using and make how they use it better. The next thing is that I really do think the next thing to do is to look at the ISV community. I think that those are the things that you can do with those. I'm still learning. I've had ISVs that invite me to get training with them, to get access to their, behind the scenes universities, all these things. So learn about the ISVs that can improve your product. And the cleaner and better and more efficient your processes are, it doesn't matter what's going to happen in 10 years or 5 years for your company. Your people are going to be happier, and they're going to be able to make those decisions and actually help implement them no matter what you do, if you stay on GP 2028 or beyond, or you're looking to move sooner.
Okay, thank you. Terry, your closing thoughts.
Do I have a half an hour, or do I just have?
You have 30 seconds, Terry.
Well, first of all, thank you for the great discussion. I do appreciate the time, and yeah, it's just to reiterate, it's a confusing topic that's out there, but a couple things that you're going to want to think about. For instance, a couple weeks ago, we had a client that came to us, or a prospective client at the time, and they were transitioning to Business Central, and they asked us, well, can you help us with the data, because the client doesn't understand what GP does and what the databases are like and how the data is stored and all that kind of stuff. So I would reiterate, continue to work with your partner if your partner is maintaining that that capability within their company, and sometimes listen to the partner, but sometimes also question the partner and understand the incentives around the partner. We have incentives to move people to Business Central away from GP, and you want to make sure it's best for you. And that's probably the biggest message. What is best for you as a company? Get advice, figure it out, plan for it, but you've got time, and relax about it. That's probably all I can say at this time.
All right, Terry, thank you. And Bob, your closing remarks.
So I agree with what Terry and Amber both said. Look, I'm all about stakeholders making decisions that are right for their business. So if they want to go cloud, great, we're here to help. If you want to stay on-prem, great, we're here to help. I mean, it's tough being a small to mid-sized business. The past 4 years, you've had the pandemic, supply chain issues, some of which are still lingering. The cost of capital with high interest rates is a challenge. I think small businesses would like a few years of normalcy so they can get back to the business of doing their business properly and making a good profit and scaling accordingly. So I'm all about stakeholders having the right information so they can make the best decisions for their business. And that's really it. I don't want to hear misinformation from some inside or outside of our space. I want stakeholders to have the truth put in front of them so they can decide. And then we are all ready, all four of us are ready to help accordingly.
And, this group is all on LinkedIn. I've communicated with you all on LinkedIn. So if there's anybody out there who wants to start a conversation with anybody here, or by all means, follow what they're posting out there, please connect with them on LinkedIn. Okay, panelists, again, I want to thank you for your time today. This was an outstanding conversation on the, State of the Union for GP. So Eric, it's going to be over to you before our end users can go and participate in the survey. So after discussing the current state of GP, can you explain how DocStar can assist customers and partners both now and in the future?
Absolutely, Rick. Thank you. So DocStar was born in 1996, and we've been continually evolving to what we are today, which is a leading content and process automation solution that's fully web-enabled and can be hosted either in our SOC compliant cloud or in your environment. So you do have that flexible deployment option. DocStar's key features can be broken down really into four major categories. The first category at its core is document capture and management. DocStar was born as a feature-rich and secure electronic document vault. To this day, we continue to help you streamline document organization, document storage, and collaboration in a secure repository. The next category is workflow automation. So DocStar helps you accelerate operational efficiency by automating mundane tasks, reducing errors, and minimizing manual intervention for any document-driven business process. This frees up your team to focus on those higher level tasks that actually add more value to your organization. And then moving on to the next category is data security and compliance. Very important. DocStar helps you prioritize the security of sensitive information with robust access controls, encryption, and compliance features. And then finally, our integration capabilities. I touched on it a little while ago. DocStar's integration toolkit enables you to seamlessly integrate DocStar with Dynamics GP and virtually any other line of business application, ensuring a unified platform for information management and a central content repository for all of your disparate applications, if you have any. So speaking of integrations, as Bob mentioned a little while ago, we've joined forces with Cavallo to help any Cavallo customer in the audience automate the data capture from your non-EDI inbound orders. This advanced functionality actually eliminates the need to manually key the order details into Cavallo going forward. So this will help you improve efficiency in that order capture process. So again, thanks for having us. We hope that you found the value in this content today, and we appreciate the opportunity to help underwrite this.
And I want to thank our panel again. And I got to tell you, this conversation is probably going to be the most shared expert panel we did, or we will be doing in 2024, or did in 2023. So thanks again for your time, everybody. Have a great day. And for those watching today, please fill in the survey. Bye for now.
Thank you very much, Rick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.